Hello, everybody. Today's topic is what is in the foods that we eat. When we eat something, we normally don't think about what's in it, but there's something called macronutrients. What are macronutrients? Macronutrients are foods that we need to survive, and they're in our foods. That's what we need most of. There are three macronutrients that everybody always talks about. They are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. But there are seven total macronutrients, and they are protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins, water, and fiber. Those are the total seven. Most people don't talk about the fiber, the minerals, and the vitamins and water, but they're also included in macronutrients. Our body needs these to survive. So where do we get these things from? What type of foods? Well, let's talk about the big three. If you're eating the big three, these foods will get you the other four anyways. The big three, we'll start with the most important macronutrient of all, which is proteins. Why is protein the most important? Because protein is what builds any type of lean mass on your body. Lean mass, like lean muscle mass, your organs, your liver, your heart, your brain, everything is being built by proteins. Proteins are the building blocks. Inside proteins, we have something called amino acids. Yeah, like amino acids, right? Amino acids. Well, they're called amino acids. There's 9 essential amino acids. What the word essential means is our body needs them. So we need all 9 of them. Only one type of food really has all essential amino acids, besides the exception of like one that I know. But they all come from animal sources. Proteins, with all 9 essential amino acids we need for our body, come from animal sources. So what's an animal source of protein? Well, chicken, turkey, beef from cows, but anything that comes from these animals too. So for example, milk and yogurt comes from a cow or a goat. These have all 9 essential amino acids. Other types of animal products is fish. Fish have all your amino acids in them as well. But can you get protein from other things? Like, what about a vegetarian? Can they get proteins? Sure, they can. There's proteins in beans, there's proteins in broccoli. But the thing about getting proteins from vegetables is they don't all have the 9 essential amino acids. As a matter of fact, the only one that I know that does is something called quinoa. And quinoa is in a big part of most vegan diets because of it has 9 essential amino acids. But if you're not eating that and you were just eating vegetables all the time, you would have to know which amino acids are in which types of vegetable. If you don't know that and you're not eating that, all 9 essential amino acids, you will become malnutrition. So you would actually start having problems, some side effects of not eating correctly. You wouldn't want to do that to yourself. So unless you really know what you're doing, you shouldn't be a vegan unless you know how to do it. If you know how to do it, it's perfectly fine. But if you don't know how to do it, you can risk having problems. There's something else called vegetarians and different kind of vegetarians. So if you're a vegetarian, but you still have some animal products like milk or eggs or fish, then you can still get all your 9 essential amino acids and you'll be just fine. I'm talking about the vegans who won't eat any type of animal product, not even drink milk, and they won't have an egg. Those types of people who want to eat that way really need to know what they're doing or they can run into problems. So again, protein is a macronutrient. It's in animal products and certain other vegetables and beans, and it's something our body needs. It is something our body needs more than any other nutrient. All right, number 2, we'll talk about macronutrient called carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, also called carbs, is our best source of quick energy. When we eat carbs, they give us energy fast. Where do carbs come from? Well, they come from grains and bread and wheat. They come from vegetables too. Oatmeals, oats, fruits. All these things are going to have carbohydrates. But there's two types of carbohydrates. There's complex carbohydrates. Those are the ones that you eat and they break down very slowly. So when you eat a complex carb, and that's, see, an example of it would be whole oats or wholemeal, steel oats, wheat bread, unprocessed types of carbohydrates. When you eat these types of carbohydrates, they burn slow, so they'll give you steady energy that will last you for a long time. They don't spike your insulin as high. So what is insulin? Insulin is like how blood sugar goes up, your insulin goes up. So by eating complex carbs, your blood sugar stays more normal, less chance of spiking insulin. Is that a good thing? Yeah, because if you spike your insulin, it makes it harder for your body to burn fat, and also spiking insulin high all the time will put you at risk of having what's called diabetes. If you're eating vegetables, they're really pretty much all low glycemic, which means they don't spike insulin very high. They're they're long-lasting carbs. So as far as eating vegetables, I wouldn't worry about that at all. Eat all the vegetables you want. I think they're one of the top things for you. But if you're eating regular stuff like white bread, candy, things like that, spikes your insulin levels very high. They're not good to eat all the time. Even white rice. There's nothing wrong with having these things, but they do spike your insulin faster. And if you're eating them too much and too often, it could put you at risk of things like diabetes or weight and fat gain, because it's hard for your body to lose body fat too when your blood sugar is so high. So be careful with that. Now, eating something like a piece of candy or drinking a pop, it's like pure sugar. So it'll give you a super fast burst of energy, but it goes away fast. So you might get super hyper and happy and fun, and then 30 minutes later, it's called a crash and you feel tired. So I don't recommend stuff like that. When is the best time to have high glycemic or the type of carbs like white bread or white rice or sugary stuff like honey and things like that? The best time is after a hard workout, because your body just depleted itself of all your carbohydrates, and it's okay to put some really back in there. Even right before a workout is okay. It will give you energy for your workout. I personally like to work out in the morning before I eat breakfast. Therefore, it goes into my fat stores and I burn more fat that way. And then after I finish working out, I'll have my breakfast. Again, another thing about carbohydrates is cereals. Cereals have a lot of carbs. I don't recommend a lot of cereals like Fruity Pebbles, things like that, because it's a lot of processed stuff. And again, it spikes your insulin real high. Not that good for breakfast, especially you want to go to school, you have Fruity Pebble cereal, you spike your insulin very high, and then you go to school and get tired right away. If you're going to have a breakfast, have more complex carbs. Do your whole oats or steel oats, have some eggs, throw in some vegetables. My typical breakfast is eggs, oatmeal with some walnuts. I do squirt a little honey on there. Honey is good for you, by the way. It has a lot of health benefits to honey, and it's not as high glycemic as other sweeteners. So go ahead and enjoy a little honey on your oatmeal. And I usually have a little fruit too. So that's how I usually start my breakfast. It's a good way to start after I work out. Get me ready for my day. So there's carbohydrates for you. Last but not least, we'll talk about fats. Fats people think is bad. Well, not all fat is bad. When I was younger and I used to work out, I didn't eat a lot of fat. I thought that was doing myself a good thing. I developed dry skin and my hair started getting dry. I could write my name on my arm, my skin was so dry. So yes, you do want fats, but you want healthy kinds. The worst fat you could eat is found in some of the cheaper peanut butter brands, and that's where I see it. I don't see it in a lot of stuff anymore, but it's called trans fats. If you read any label on nutrition, stay away from trans fats. Trans fatty acids are the worst. They give you the most problems with inflammation and artery clogging fats. Also, saturated fats is not as good for you either. I mean, they're okay in moderation, like saturated fats from your steak and stuff like that is okay in moderation, but not too much of a good thing. Too much of a good thing's bad. But the best fats you could eat are called your omegas. Omega 3 is probably the best of all. You get omega fats from your nuts, cashews, almonds, peanuts. But peanuts have a lot of omega-6, not as good, but it's still better than the saturated fats. And fatty fish, it's usually fish found in cold waters like salmon, mackerel, sardines. These all have your best good fats. These fats are amazing for you, good for your brain, good for your skin, good for your muscles, lubricate your joints. And fats give you a lot of energy too. Actually, proteins and carbs have 4 calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram, so be careful. They can gain weight eating lots of fats, but they do give you lots of energy, and they are important. That's why they're a macronutrient. Your body needs to eat these good fats. As far as the other 4 things go, water, drink water all the time. I fill this big old thing up with water. I'm always staying hydrated. Your body needs water, helps purify you, helps get rid of waste, all that good stuff. Your vitamins and minerals, hey, as long as you're eating your vegetables, you're getting loaded on those. Even some meats and everything has those too. So eat a balanced diet. Eat your vegetables, eat your fruits, eat your whole grains, and have your proteins and meats, and you'll be eating just fine. I'm going to do another video soon about how to eat properly, the best way to eat properly. But I hope you understand now what's in your foods, and now you know what you're eating and why you're eating them. Stay healthy, guys. Get a good workout after this video. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.